What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to have a discussion about the upcoming Fantastic Four film. Now, the rumor for the past couple of months is that Sue Storm, played by Vanessa Kirby, is going to be the main focus of the film. Well, now I can confirm that those rumors are true, because apparently there's been a few articles over the past couple of days that have confirmed this. So now we're going to talk about, is this a good idea or not? Personally, what I think, this is not a good idea. And I know the closet just opened. That is my cat. No worry, she's breaking into the room. Don't freak out. So I personally think that having Sue Storm as the lead, as the focus of the film, is just not a good idea. But we should have known that Disney and Marvel were going to go in a different direction a long time ago. And this goes back to the original casting of the film. I remember when we were kind of all on pins and needles as to who was going to be cast as the Fantastic Four. I pretty much knew Vanessa Kirby had it in the bag because she was pretty much the top contender for Sue Storm. But when it came to Reed Richards, now this is my opinion solely as a Fantastic Four novice. I am not an expert about these characters or about these, this section of the Marvel Comics at all. The only prior exposure to Fantastic Four that I've ever had has been the movies with Jessica Alba and Chris Evans. So I'm just going by what other people are saying and also my personal feelings, okay? So just, give me a little bit of slack here and there. I'm not an expert when it comes to Fantastic Four. But when it came to the casting of Reed Richards, and I heard that Pedro Pascal was the front runner for Reed Richards, I personally was not in agreement with this casting choice. And then when he was ultimately cast, I said, why? Why? Why is it Pedro Pascal? Because I personally feel that Pedro Pascal is very overexposed. I feel like Pedro Pascal is in every single movie, every single project. I'm just tired of seeing him every single second in every single trailer before every movie that I go to see at the theater. So I was not a fan of Pedro Pascal as a casting choice. But now that this information is confirmed that Vanessa Kirby is going to be the lead focus of Fantastic Four, now it makes perfect sense as to why Pedro Pascal was chosen for Reed Richards, because Pedro Pascal as an actor, it is believable that Sue Storm or Vanessa Kirby will be able to take the lead over Pedro Pascal. If there was another actor cast as Reed Richards, someone more, dare I say, a little bit more masculine, or, not saying that Pedro Pascal is not masculine, but just saying that it's easier to believe that Pedro Pascal can be overtaken than some other actor. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to be honest about this entire situation. The casting choice makes a lot more sense. So with that casting choice of Pedro Pascal, we should have known right then, okay, something is going to be a little bit different about this movie. And then we had the casting of Julia Garner as the female Silver Surfer. I know when a female was cast versus a male, that did spark a little bit of conversation. Why is it a female? Why are we going in this direction? I mean, I'm not trying to say that it shouldn't be a female, because obviously I am all about female and female empowerment. I am just talking about how I don't think this movie is going to be well received because of the choices that Disney and Marvel are making. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So with the casting choice of to go the female route with a Silver Surfer, that should have been another clue to us that they were going, or Disney was going, in a different direction with this film. Then we have Johnny Storm. And this doesn't really affect like Sue Storm being the lead of the movie or anything, but the character of Johnny in this upcoming Fantastic Four is going to be a very watered down version, because Chris Evans' character in those Fantastic Four movies, I haven't seen any other Fantastic Four films. I think that's fine because they weren't the greatest movies anyway. So the Chris Evans Johnny character that I'm familiar with is a major flirt, and he's just a, he's a womanizer, and he's out there just wanting to, get with girls and everything. But this version of Johnny that we are getting in the upcoming Fantastic Four is going to be a severe, watered down version of that kind of character, because nowadays it's quote unquote not cool to do something like that. So, all of these big changes that Disney and Marvel are making together for this film, and then on top of it, you put Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm as the leader of the Fantastic Four. She's making all the decisions and everything like that. I don't know how fans are going to react to this movie. And I'm talking the major diehard fans that are, committed to the comics and everything like that. Like I said, I'm a casual fan of Marvel. I've never been a hardcore fan of Marvel. I've never read one Marvel comic or anything like that. I am just a lover of the movies. So for me, going to see Fantastic Four, this is probably not going to affect me as much as hardcore fans. I feel like the hardcore fans of Fantastic Four are not going to like the new direction that this movie is going in. Another difference is that I heard that the Thing character is not really featured all that much in the movie. Like his major scenes you see in the trailer. You see in the trailer, and he might be, in the background somewhere, but he's not heavily featured as he should be. Like I said, that's what I heard, because with Fantastic Four, Marvel chose to do something that Marvel doesn't normally do, and that is have an early screening of the film. And so when people got out of that screening, of course, there's little rumblings online of what they just saw. And these were some of the critiques that people were saying from that early screening, that there isn't enough Thing, the watered down Johnny character. So all of these little, factors that I've been mentioning have been coming from screenings and articles and things like that. I've been pulling information from all different kinds of sources. So I feel like Fantastic Four, even though a lot of people are very excited about the movie, there's been a huge amount of pre-sale tickets for opening weekend. I'm just scared that this is going to be another Disney flop. Not a flop in the sense that that Fantastic Four is going to flop in its opening weekend, because I don't think that's going to happen. What I do think is going to happen is that opening weekend, Fantastic Four is going to perform extremely well. It is just like over $100 million for the opening weekend. And then I think it's going to drop drastically. And the reason why I think that is because people are going to go and see this movie. They're going to end up being disappointed with what they see. They're going to go online. They're going to go on social media. They're going to express their feelings about it. And so all those people that haven't seen the movie yet are probably not going to go and see it in theater because of those reviews. They'll just wait for it to land on Disney Plus. And also, there won't be a lot of repeat business, because if you're unsatisfied with your first watch experience, why would you go and see it again? So I feel like all of these changes that Disney and Marvel have made to the Fantastic Four, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be well received. And that is very unfortunate, because the Fantastic Four are characters that people have been waiting for from Marvel for a really, really long time. And so for Marvel just to, put this movie out there and already shoot themselves in the foot is just extremely disappointing. Now, going into a little bit more detail about Sue Storm, Vanessa Kirby as the lead of this movie, this is something that we probably should have known was going to occur simply by the trailer. Because as I'm thinking back, looking at the trailer that I have seen for this film quite a few times already, it does make sense that she is the lead of the Fantastic Four because she is the focus of the trailer. It didn't really click with me before, but after the confirmation that she is the lead from these articles, okay, now it all makes sense because the trailer, she is the focus. She is very heavily featured in the trailer. She has a voiceover in the trailer as well. So everything is lining up and everything is making sense. So Sue Storm is definitely going to be the focal point of this movie. Now, I don't have a problem with a female-led project, please. I want to keep that very clear. I have no problem. I support that completely. But I am thinking about the hardcore fans and the unfortunate trend that's been happening lately with female-led movies. Because recently, female-led movies have not been performing at the box office. We just had a female-led action film not do well. Ballerina. Ballerina was supposed to debut with a 35 or above opening weekend here domestically. It made $25 million, only $51 million worldwide. That is a huge disappointment. Another film by Disney and Marvel, Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts, if you've seen the film, is clearly led by Florence Pugh. That movie has not even made $400 million worldwide at the box office. We also have other examples. We have Furiosa. Furiosa came out, what, a year ago now? 2 years ago? I don't know. I can't remember. I think it was a year ago. Furiosa. Again, same thing. Did not perform well at the box office, even though Furiosa had a ton of male supporting characters in that film. You put the lead, her name, as the title, I think it turned people off. It turned people off. There could have been other factors to that. You know, the length of time between Fury Road and Furiosa. I think that was a main factor as well. But at the end of the day, no one showed up for Furiosa either. So there is this ongoing trend of action films led by female characters that are just not doing well. And so this could happen to Fantastic Four. Possibly it could happen. What I think Fantastic Four has that is kind of working in its favor, it does have the pre-sale tickets for the opening weekend. Okay, that's a little feather in their cap. All right. But what happens after that? And are people going to abandon Fantastic Four to go to Superman? Because Superman comes out before Fantastic Four. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with all of these movies that come out in the month of July. Now, what could really save Fantastic Four is the fact that the month of August kind of looks like a ghost town as far as movie releases at the box office. So because Fantastic Four is coming out at the end of July, I believe it's July 25th or something like that, it has the whole entire month of August to really make money. But again, I just feel like at the end of the day, the Fantastic Four is just another Disney Marvel project where they just want to do what they want to do and they don't care about what the fans want. And I feel like at the end of the day, a Sue Storm leader for the Fantastic Four is not what fans want to see. They want to see Reed Richards, or they want to see Reed Richards and Sue Storm both lead the Fantastic Four together. Why does it have to be one leader? I don't know. They're together. They're a couple. They're like having a baby in the movie. It's in the trailer. So like why can't they co-lead? Have them be co-leads? I don't know. But I'm just really worried because Disney has been like screwing up lately. They don't care about what the fans want. Granted, Disney has a buttload of money. They have so many different resources for making money. They just want to put out what they feel is okay and not really listening to the fans, which is unfortunate. I know movie studios don't really listen to the fans, but honestly, they should, because we make videos like this on YouTube all the time and other social media platforms. All people, all fans are constantly talking about what's wrong with Disney and Marvel and MCU and everything. Maybe these studios actually should be listening to us and what we want to see. Is a female-led Fantastic Four what you guys want to see? Comment down below and let me know. Let's start a conversation. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you next time.